So in this video, we're going to discuss whether those so-called credit builder credit cards help you rebuild credit better than regular credit cards. So stay tuned, bankruptcy bailout buddies. Welcome, debtors and borrowers, to Bankruptcy Bailout, because debt ruins lives, not bankruptcy. My name is Matt Berkus. I'm a Colorado-based bankruptcy and debt relief attorney, and today I got an interesting question. And that question is whether these credit cards that you see offered as credit builder credit cards or credit rebuilding credit cards, do they actually help you rebuild credit better than regular credit cards? Now, it might seem obvious that a credit card is a credit card, but it's an interesting question. What are these credit rebuilding credit cards, and are they different than regular credit cards, and does that matter for rebuilding credit? Now, as a bankruptcy attorney, I'm often asked to field questions about rebuilding credit, especially after bankruptcy. So let's talk about this question here real quick. Now, as far as the core question, the answer is no. A credit card is just a credit card. So these cards that are marketed as credit builder credit cards, well, they are just credit cards after all. And so when it comes to scoring models, they're not going to treat them, or the models are not going to treat these credit builder credit cards any differently than any other credit cards. But what these credit cards are targeting is borrowers with either no or very limited credit history, or a borrower that is trying to rebuild and recover from a bad event or a negative event, like being in collections, not being able to pay bills, and eventual bankruptcy, and so forth. So they are useful because they may be the only card you can get, because they are targeted towards subprime borrowers and therefore have more lenient underwriting standards than your normal prime credit cards. But there are a few things to take note of and be cautious about with these type of cards and how you use them to rebuild credit. First off, these credit builder cards typically have a low available balance, maybe only $500, maybe only $1,000. So when it comes time to rebuild your credit, you don't want to just charge them up near the maximum balance, because one aspect of your credit score, one factor in your credit score, is what's called credit utilization. And that's basically your debt to available balance ratio. So if you have a $500 credit card and you charge it up to $400, well, that's a very high debt utilization, and that's a net negative on your credit. So the target is, or you don't want to go any more than 30%, and ideally no more than 10%, but 30%, anything under 30% is fine as far as credit scoring is concerned. So if you only have a $500 credit card balance, available balance, then you don't want to charge it any more than $150 for any billing cycle. Now, I should also point out, you don't need to carry a balance from month to month in order to rebuild your credit. I mean, you can just charge the card, pay it off each month, and that really is the best thing you can do, because the number one way you rebuild credit, or just build credit in general, your credit score, is a positive recurring payment history. So you do want to be in a position to make payments every month, but that doesn't necessarily mean charging up a balance and keeping a balance every month. But if you do, again, no more than 30%. And the other caution with these cards is, or another caution is they're going to have a high interest rate. So you don't really want to be carrying a balance anyway, because you're just going to be charged, interest that's well over 20% on the balance. So there's really no point or no purpose in carrying a balance on these cards because of the high interest rates. And then the other thing too is a lot of these cards, at least initially, are going to have some sort of annual fee associated with the card, or maybe a monthly fee. You want to try to avoid that if you can. There's obviously, unless your credit is so poor and it's the only thing you can get, well, okay, get that. And then hopefully either you can get to the point where they will either waive the fee or upgrade you to a better card that doesn't have the fee. But even if you have the card for a year, and if you need to cancel the card to get out of the fee, I would still recommend that you do that, as long as you can get another credit card that doesn't have an annual fee. So as far as credit reporting is concerned, these credit builder cards is really just a marketing ploy to highlight to subprime borrowers that, hey, you might be able to qualify for these cards, and it's good for someone who's coming out of a bankruptcy or someone who is a brand new, who's just getting out of high school, needs to start rebuilding credit. That's what these cards are designed to do, but they don't provide any sort of tangible benefit in your credit score vis-a-vis other types of credit cards. So if you can get a regular credit card, get that if you can, but it doesn't really matter. Again, my name is Matt Berkus, Colorado bankruptcy and debt relief attorney. Best of luck to you.